10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Yep, fashionably gay, as usual. Fashionably late and gay, but we're here. Fucking A, man. Sorry, I recorded another video today, and I started editing it, and I lost track of time because I've been working on editing. Editing's a bitch, dude. I don't like doing it, but it turns videos into something that people can watch. So I don't know. Apparently, Leo's finding out that riding bikes can hurt.
Ouch. Yeah, definitely.
How's that going?
Know what? It's nothing really, no major damage to the bike, just a few bent parts, but right, it still rides.
What about you?
Right side still hurts. Not as much, but you know.
Do you
and also, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, and also, I decided to take a trip with my cousins to the gun shop just to watch both of them buy 2 Springfields.
Son of a bitch.
I'm
We're in Illinois. That is the land of Springfield.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess if anywhere that the Springfield fucking bullshittery was actually going to work, it's in Illinois.
Yeah. And I also got a runny nose. So that's how my week been.
Yeah, man.
Fell off my bike, watched my cousins buy Springfields, and a runny nose. Yep.
How fast were you going when you came off the bike?
Probably around. I started to hit the brakes when I was still going around 20, 18, maybe.
So not quite that fast?
Nah. This whole bike just started to wobble. There I go. Ow. That even hurts laughing.
Man, one time I was it wasn't a bike, it was a motorcycle, so a little bit different. But I took this girl out for a date, and during the date it started raining. So when I carefully took her back to her house and we hung out there till the roads got dry, and then I rode my bike home. And on the way home, the roads were clean and dry and perfect. So I was kind of hauling ass, And I went around this corner that was underneath a bridge, and there was some sort of a drainage system for the bridge above that was still leaking water through. And there was a line of water that went across the road. And I was full fucking lean, going through this tunnel, through this part. It was kind of like a tunnel. And long story short, bro, I almost died that day, or at least I would have got fucked up, dude. Because when I hit that water, the bike lost traction and going 80 miles an hour or whatever, I went sideways and then corrected. And then, oh my God, dude, I didn't know bikes could do that, but I had some sort of angel watching over me at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I know when I hit the concrete, my voice got hard. I was like, oh, God damn it. I just shot up to my throat. Yeah.
Do you have a gear besides your helmet?
No, just the helmet.
Yeah, I think honestly you need gloves are a must, because if you come off the bike, that's the first thing you scrape up, is your hands, and then maybe elbow pads, knee pads. I don't know. Depends on how nerdy you want to be, I guess.
I know. I'm definitely getting all that shit.
Yeah. So anyway, what's going on, Ohio? You there?
Yes, the trains are coming through.
You're the train master now.
Yeah, and I even got some Bluetooth headphones the other day thinking, oh, surely these will dampen the fucking train noises. No, they don't.
You just got to keep living with it until your mind blocks it out, dude. That's what I do with the like. I live right next to a hospital, and the fucking ambulances go by like all the fucking time. I don't even hear them anymore, unless they're like right outside. Oh, that train is pretty fucking loud where you're at, though. So I don't know, maybe not.
Well, the problem is there's like 10 different train tracks within like a mile or two of this place.
Yeah. Yep, so Colorado passed the gayest fucking gun laws in the history of the fucking country.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I think it doesn't go into effect until August.
I thought it was next year.
Yeah, until next year, August.
Oh, okay.
August 26th.
Yeah, so we have 14 months to get all of the guns that we can't get after. Like, oh my God, dude. If you ever wanted to just sell a shit ton of guns in Colorado, like that, like the gun stores are going nuts right now. I'm sure I got to go to a gun store and just poke my head in and see what's going on. Not that I actually need anything or whatever, but just to see how they're doing. You know, there is a one or two guns that I guess I would like to have before it would be no longer an option to buy them. You know, and maybe get a couple stripped lowers or something like that too. I don't know. I've got 14 months to figure it out, but if you guys lived in Colorado and you had a pretty decent collection, you know, you had pretty much the things that you wanted or whatever, is there anything that you would buy just for the fuck of it because you could?
I would buy like 2 lowers. And that's literally what I did here in Illinois before they passed the law about two lowers, complete lowers from PSA.
Yeah, I was thinking about going on Palmetto next time they've got a deal and buying like a couple of strip lowers and maybe a couple of Glock lowers too. Why not?
Yeah, I think for me, I still don't have a Glock in my collection, so I'll just buy, I don't know, just a regular Glock 19 or something. It's the only thing I really wanted.
Sucks how, like, okay, like there's Glock clones that work just as good, if not better than a Glock, because they have features that Glocks don't from the factory, blah, 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 right? But the Glock costs more. And also the Glock has the name recognition, so it has the resale value versus like the Glock copies.
Yep.
Like if you try to resell your Glock copy, you're not going to get shit for it because no one cares. You know what I mean? That being said, though, like a dagger is just fine. Like a dagger is going to do everything that a fucking Glock could do, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll never buy a Glock unless it's $300. If it's not $300, I'm not touching it.
Well, you can get the $300 Glocks, but they're like the police trade-in 40 caliber.
40 calibers and stuff.
Yeah, I don't want a 40.
Does anyone here have a 40? I don't have a 40.
Nope. I don't have a 40.
That's like a, I don't know, dude's a little bit older than me thing. Like my age and older fucking love 40 for some reason. Because of the whole FBI police shootout in Miami-Dade County that the guy used a 9mm and shot the bad guy and it didn't kill him, but if he had a 40, it would have stopped the fucking shooting and blah, 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 blah. You know that story?
Yep.
Yeah, so all the fucking police stations, all the police dudes switched to 40 caliber. And then the fucking the technology got better and
first then they
was good now. What's up?
First, then they switched to 10mm, then 40.
Yeah, I think that is correct. Actually, yeah, they switched to 10mm, and they found that
Very short amount of time
in their ranks couldn't handle the recoil of 10mm, so they doped it down a little bit.
Yeah,
I think you're still okay. There you go.
Hey, what, huh?
Right now, I was telling Vedre, I think you're not muted. Oh, so what were you saying?
I don't even know now, dude. That all the old dudes like the 40. That's all.
Yeah.
See, like NC Lucky and Lawfully Armed. Oh, wait. Lawfully Armed isn't saying 40 is for people who wear slip-on shoes. There you go. I'm sure Old Man Butt Wrinkles has a 40. Do you have a 40 there, Old Man Butt Wrinkles? All Thumbs has a fucking Glock 22. See, there you go. People have them out there.
The only time 40 was good was during lockdowns because you couldn't get 9.
Nope.
Yeah, dude. Since lockdowns, like I used to like buy ammo and then shoot it, and then buy some more, and then shoot some more. And now I like buy ammo, and then I just buy more ammo. I don't like shoot it at all. Like I'm like, no, I need it for later. Oh, this is for target practice. Nope, this is for like, this is it, dude. Like we're fucking there, bro. There's no
Yeah, the way shit going, I haven't been shooting mine either. I've just been saving my ammo.
yeah, because bro, it could come to the point where in places like Colorado, especially, bro, where they start changing laws and doing shit, and you go to the store and now they don't have anything that you want or need anymore. Like all the guns that you would like to have detachable magazines and are semi-automatic, and therefore are no longer available in Colorado. And didn't they do something with ammo too? I don't know, dude. They passed so many fucking laws in the past little bit that it's dizzying. I can't even keep up with it as a resident of the state. I do know, however, that the Trump administration instructed the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi to create a I don't know what they would call it. I don't know what they are calling it, but basically they're going after states that are overreaching their Second Amendment laws that they're passing. So there's a bunch of states like Colorado, California, New Jersey, etc., that have passed laws that are contradictory towards the judgments that have come through the Supreme Court recently and the Bruin decision and others, right? And like Colorado, for instance, just moved ahead with the thing anyway. They know that there's a Supreme Court decision that's saying, hey, here's something that you literally can't do because the Second Amendment says you can't, and the Supreme Court has upheld that. And Colorado and other states are just like, yep, we don't care. We're going to do whatever the fuck we fucking want. And the Trump administration is using the Department of Justice to basically go after states and stop them from doing these things. So my one hope with this whole situation is that the federal government steps in and saves us from the state government. But I don't know. What are the odds?
I mean, you and me both, Honda. I mean, they already found that whole information about my state spying on me if I moved out of state and bought something.
Wait, what about that? I don't know about that.
Okay, pretty much what it is. Like, let's say I would have moved out of state,
mm-hmm.
and I purchased something like recently. They were using the FBI to track you if you leave the state of California just to see what you were doing.
So if you're a recent resident of California and you move to any other state,
yeah,
and you go fill out a 4473 at a gun store and buy one.
Yeah.
They were using the federal government to track those somehow?
Yeah, it's to track you. It was using the FBI.
To see if you moved back to California or something or what?
I guess, yeah. I guess in case, but it was kept oh, watch him. We want to know what he got or anything the person has. So that's that. There's a whole case on that, and including Trump getting on California's ass, using the agencies. And the funny thing is too, they accidentally sent that paperwork to one of the gun organizations, so they got that paperwork, so they kind of fucked up too. So
yeah, they're really bad at being villains. I feel like
yeah,
they have all the villain plans.
Email.
It's like they're like the grandchildren of the actual it's like fucking Dr. Evil, right? And then you got Dr. Evil's fucking grandkid who's like a fucking fuck up. But now Dr. Evil's dead. And they've handed the empire down the line to the next heir, the person who's in charge, the grandchild thereof, who grew up with a silver spoon, never had to do anything, has no skills, has relatively low intelligence compared to the amount of responsibility falling on his shoulders, and is falls short of the New World Order evil plan and dropping the ball on multiple fucking fronts because they no longer possess the skills that their grandparents had to bring them to that point in the first place. That's great. That's a great thought right there.
To one of the people from your comments, I don't know how long they've been doing this, but I don't think it was that long. But
it was sometime in the past year.
Okay.
MSB 9021 dropped in $5. Thanks, man. It says, okay, let me get this straight. I hear Glock, is this real? Is discontinuing the 40 and 357 SIG, but they're still doing the 45 GAP.
I heard they was discontinuing the 357 SIG. I heard that part.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know about.
Why don't you guys know? You're gun people. Come on. No, I'm just kidding.
Are we just talking about the manufacturing of those guns that shoot that round, or what?
Oh, Sophia moved out of California in 2022. You're totally being tracked right now, by the way.
I mean, if she bought something that had to relate, you know, had to do a 4473. But I think I've been out of state, but I bought stuff that you didn't need to get a 4473.
Here's the question, though. Don't you think that they're already fucking tracking basically everything that we do through fucking social media and other, like, information brokers, basically, who take your online information and sell them to the highest bidder, and the government's always going to be the highest bidder because they always want the information, but they don't actually want to keep that information because then they could be FOIA'd for it, and they could be found out that they have that information. So as long as it's kept under the auspice of being a private company who's collecting and storing that information, that it's no longer available to the American public to find out that the government's actually using that information against us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they ever wanted to, they could use that information in an AI algorithm to go after people who broke the law. And they could basically bust every single person in the United States for a particular law, or for any law, or for every law that they're breaking, and they could go after you know what I mean? Or what they could do is they could identify people who are potentially dissidents to the system who would go against it, and specifically look into their histories and bust them for whatever they've done wrong, or potentially done wrong, or unwittingly done wrong, or whatever it is, because the average American citizen breaks, what is it, like 2.5 felonies per day, because there's just so many laws on the book that we can't fucking help but break laws, because you just by like living and being, we're breaking federal laws daily. And if they just wanted to go after us, it's like the old Stalin-esque fucking trope of show me the man and I will show you the fucking crime, right? They don't even need to, like, there's just so many laws on the book. That's how you know it's corrupt. That's how you know it's fake. That's how you know the justice system isn't real. It's supposed to stop people from hurting other people and damaging them, and, you know, like, make people whole again when you get in a car accident or something like that, right? Like, that's what the rule of law is supposed to do effectively in a society, is to protect our interests so that we can have some reasonable semblance of, I don't know, a surety that the future will be what we expect it, so we can build, right? Because if you don't have that, you don't have that expectation of prosperity in the future, then there's no point in fucking like keeping things going in the present. So yeah, that's when society breaks down. And I think that's the point that we're at, because a lot of people see the situation that we're in as a country and don't try anymore. Like, why would you go to college? You're just going to get fucked over and be brainwashed into fucking liberal faggotism, you know? Like, why would you start a company? There's over a 50% chance that you're going to fucking fail. Why would you get married? There's a 60% chance now, over 50%, that your marriage will end in disaster and she'll take half of everything that you own and keep you from ever seeing your children. Like, all of these things are pointed at the end of society, and I don't know how to get around that. Van Drake's in here twice now.
The thing that pisses me off with pro-gun states is that they never bother going like full pro-2A. For the past 3 General Assemblies here in Ohio, we've been trying to do the Second Restoration Act thing, and they still have yet to bring it through because of the Supreme Court ruling saying, oh, you can't do that and can't have like state law basically govern federal laws. And it's like, no, fuck that, do it anyway. Same thing with suppressors and stuff like that.
A wild lead on steel has joined the chat.
What's going on, guys?
How do you do, good sir?
Good. How are you?
Pretty all right, you know. Did you guys watch my my most recent video from this morning? Did you watch that today?
Sure did.
Yeah.
You gonna quit playing in the park late at night?
Running from I mean, kind of running from the cops. Not really. He was never behind me with his lights on, so that would be the difference, I guess.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. If you're behind me and you have your lights on, Like, you got me. I'm pulling over. If I can, like, sneak away before you can get behind me and find out what my license plate is, it's cat and mouse, baby. Like, good luck to you, sir. I don't know. I didn't expect the cop to be there right there. Every time I get spam India messages or calls, I send a random winner photo album to it. I've gotten some really mean messages back, so it must work. What are you talking about? I send a random winner photo album? Wiener? Like wiener? Like penis? You send them penis pics? So when the fucking the Indian dudes are like, "Hello, I am from the FBI, and you need to pay us money because it is known that you are breaking the law, and it is a fine that you pay over the phone right now, and it will go away." Right? And you're like, "Sweet, hang up and dick pic? Is that what you do?" Wasn't it some state that made dick pic like illegal, like New Jersey or something? I forget what it was. This is a while back.
There's a few states now that are working on AI imagery and exploitation stuff right now.
I don't know. I have no idea what you just said.
So there's a couple states, including my own, that are doing it's to ban AI imagery from creating like fake pics of people and like sexual exploitation stuff like that.
Good luck with that, bro. Like, there's a fat fucking chance of stopping that shit. Like, I guess you could put people in jail ultimately who are responsible for prompting the AI to produce it or something if they happen to live within that jurisdiction. But there ain't no stopping that shit, bro. That's a fucking that's one of them Pandora boxes, you know?
Well, I think it's supposed to be anti-dissemination laws is what it is. It'd be like the same thing with like how people share child porn and stuff like that, and they get busted for that. It'd be something similar to that, I think is what it is.
Well, I mean, not that I'm down with child porn or whatever, but one of the things that the FBI, CIA, I'm not sure, NSA, people in government, those in power, those who have the ability to put you in prison forever, and who's fucking wrinkling paper right now? Shut the fuck up. Sorry, love you. They have the ability, they have a back door to every single device, every single computer in the United States to check it for child porn, right? And the fear, the conspiracy theory, the idea is that if they can go into your computer and check your files without you knowing it, then it's possible that they could go into your computer and place files there without you knowing it. So the idea is like, oh, you're going to get...
Yeah, you can make that in court easy.
Yeah, well, it would be whoever is a dissident, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we found child porn on Van Drake's computer, and you're like, what? Motherfucker. But then everyone hears that, and they're all against you, and then you go to prison, and they're like, why are you here? For CP, and then you get fucking butt raped to death in the fucking prison? That's the way it works, bro. The guards look the other way, and they know what they're doing.
I believe InfoWars actually proved that like last year, a couple years ago during Biden's administration, that it was being planted on their servers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that particular story or whatever, but it wouldn't surprise me. And we're also in the era of, I don't care what the fuck the conspiracy theory is, how wild it may seem, how outlandish or off the wall or unlikely it is that it could be true. It seems like a lot of them are true, and you can't just discount anything these days. I'm not saying every single conspiracy theory is true, because I'm sure that there's conspiracy theories that are fucking wacky that some fucking nut job fucking made up while he was masturbating to pictures of his mother or whatever, you know what I mean? But man, there's a lot of fucking crazy shit that's turned out to be true. And man, there's a lot of government corruption and I don't know what you call it, just corruption, straight up corruption that we've seen proven by Doge and just looking at like systems of government and how they work and what they do, right? Like the purpose of a system is what it does. If these systems of government are doing not very much to help people and very, very much to enrich a political class of people, then that's the point of the system. It's not to help people out. And like, we need to dismantle those systems. We need to take those things apart, and we need to figure out what things we would like the system to accomplish, and then recreate those systems so that they accomplish the goals that we want and not the things that we don't want. It's pretty simple. And it's what Elon Musk has been doing with Doge this whole fucking time. And it's hilarious to me. It's fucking hilarious to me, the number of NPC, not think for themselves, people who have no fucking brain cells to rub together, right? Out there with their Teslas, with a fuck Elon Musk or Elon, and maybe it's like if you have a Tesla and you don't want people to fuck with it, right? So you put like an anti-Elon Musk sticker so that people don't fuck with it. I'm sure that that's part of it. I'm sure that some percentage of the people actually fucking love Elon Musk, probably voted for Donald Trump, bought the fucking Tesla just because, but now they live in Denver and they don't want to fucking get their car fucked with. So, you know what I mean? Like, they put the sticker on, but man, there's a lot of fucking people who buy the sticker because they believe in it too. And I've yet to hear, maybe tonight's the night. Maybe someone tonight will tell me the argument that I finally hear that convinces me, like, oh, that's why people don't like Elon in an actual logical manner that makes sense with facts, right? Not some made up very possible fucking situation in which Elon's bad or whatever in the future or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, tell me the solid evidence. Tell me the fucking solid reasoning that you have that Elon Musk is bad, and I'll listen. I'll at least placate you through the fucking argument so I can understand it. Doesn't mean I'll agree with it at the end, but I'd like to hear the argument. I still haven't heard it. Sorry, go ahead. Someone was saying something?
Oh, I was just saying that'll never happen.
Yeah, I highly doubt it because it's not logic. It's like trust the science, and if you don't trust the science, I'm going to turn red in the face and call you a Nazi and scream in your face and say that you should be thrown out in the street. If you have a heart attack, we're going to not treat you at the hospital because you're the one who's causing this problem and you're the one killing my grandmother. And okay, like, none of that is logical. All of that's emotional. None of that is factually based. All of it is fucking just like talking points and bullshit. And people swallowed that shit hook, line, and sinker, and never fucking woke up from the trance. They've been on that fucking line ever since. Some of us saw that line in the water. Again, we're the fish, you know. The fucking New World Order is the fisherman. The COVID-19 story would be the lure, the bait. Some of us saw that bait and were like, fuck the fuck no. That looks like it might be poison. That looks like it might kill us. That looks like they're lying to us. That looks like the experts are not the experts. They're just the hypnotizers. They're the, they're the people who are luring children onto the island in Pinocchio, It's insane what's going on. And if you see through it, you see through it. If you see through it, you can't unsee it. And there's just so many people who are entranced, and you would think by now, with everything that's happened on this planet in the last 5 years, how could they still be asleep? But here we are. I don't know. How do you wake those people up? I'm not sure.
Unfortunately, you don't in many cases. Have you guys heard that leftist conspiracy that's going around that supposedly Trump was going to declare martial law next Saturday or next Sunday?
I don't know, but I do know that if we get another round of BLM riots like we did in the Summer of Love, Trump should not do the thing that he did last time, which is like try to placate people and not call in the guard. No, dude, fuck that shit. As soon as it pops off and the local governments aren't immediately fucking stepping up and putting these things down and stopping them from happening and moving forward, yeah, the federal government needs to declare an emergency and send in troops to stop it. Because if not, we're going to end up with another Summer of Love. And you know how that shit ends. And it's like, oh, that's going to tarnish Trump's image. Well, yeah, guess what? He's not up for re-election, motherfuckers. It doesn't matter. He's got the power. I guess it would hurt the midterms for the people who are trying to, you know what I mean? But even then, like, this shit needs to get done sometimes you got to make the hard decision that's bad for people in the short term, but good for them in the long term. That's going to hurt them in the next election, but maybe save the country. You know, sometimes you got to save the country and shoot yourself in the foot or whatever.
Well, I'm sure you heard about that politician that got their house burned recently.
No, where was that at?
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. His mansion was supposedly firebombed.
Yep, with his kids inside.
Isn't he a Democrat?
Yes. He also would have been
ironic
as number 2, but because of his status of being Jewish, people were all like, "Oh, left hate Jews" and stuff like that now.
Right, because the left has become so discordant that it's eating itself. They have so many fucking make or break death fucking, like, I don't know, die on this hill issues that are conflicting with one another that they are literally imploding. Like, that makes perfect sense, dude, that's happening. And, you know, like, the media is complicit in this whole thing too, because I'm sure that the reason I haven't heard about that is because they're glazing it over and they're covering it up and they're moving on to the next thing and they're downplaying what happened. And, you know, but if it was like the other way, if it was like, I don't know, like a Republican who did that, you know, like to a Democrat mayor especially or whatever, you know, then it would be front page and everyone would know about it and everyone would know his name and have his picture and his entire story and social media background and things that his grandmother said, you know, everyone would fucking know because that's the way it works. Again, if you see it, you can't unsee it. If you see it, you fucking see right the fuck through it. You understand how the little intricate pieces work. And it's also simultaneously impossible to describe to someone who doesn't see it. It's like the Matrix. You can't be told what the Matrix is. You have to be shown. Elon is evil because the media told me he is, and they never lie. That's true. What is this? I just did a video on 15,000 drivers' medical cards voided. Your medical card got voided? Well, you're not Mexican enough, Tara. Get with the program. It's like E Honda's penis. What is? The federal government, because it's so huge and grows. It's so hard to fucking beat. God, that sounds gay. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I know that. What guns would you guys buy? We never got to that. What guns would you buy if you lived in Colorado and you were like, fuck? I mean, we talked about a couple stripped lowers and stuff, but is there a specific gun that you're like, fuck, man, I would need to have this in my collection, therefore I need to fucking consider buying it because I'm E-Honda and I might not be able to buy it in 14 months?
Well, I shot my MP5. I shot that yesterday.
The what?
My MP5.
MP5, yeah. Yeah, I mean, while MP5s are cool, I already have something that fills that role. So for me in particular, I don't need an MP5. I've got an AR5. It kind of looks like an MP5.
Well, what sort of handguns do you have? Besides the Canic, I know that. I have a Canic and a Glock, I guess.
I've got some stuff. I don't know. I'm not telling everybody what I got.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking some ideas.
So
I've got about the same number of semi-autos as I do revolvers. I have plenty of revolvers. So if the answer is a revolver, I probably already have it. Tons of magazines, says the Cincinnati kid. That's not a bad idea. I was actually thinking about the Ruger LCP Max. Because it's light, easy to carry, semi-automatic, semi-double stack, 12-round magazines, 380 ACP that you can throw in your pocket and forget that you have. And they were selling them on fucking Palmetto for like $230. And I can say that if you don't give people a link, it's fine to say that. I guess you don't say the entire website in its entirety and spell it out for people, but yeah, you could say Palmetto for $250, and people know if you know, but you don't know because you didn't actually tell people, right? Right. Okay, cool. Good talk.
Yeah.
Buy all the guns. All right, Corey, give me some money so I can
There's
buy more guns.
apparently a company called GeForce Arms that are now selling Glock clones.
GeForce Arms?
Yeah, I think they're one of these Turkish companies that popped up recently. Because they have like a lot of shotguns and stuff on the market that are like the AR-12s and stuff like that.
Cool. I don't care about any of that. Unless it's a fucking dagger, I guess. Daggers are cool. Okay, Preston Garvey says, what Tara is talking about is that truckers need a medical card saying they are fit to drive a semi, and 15,000 drivers are in trouble because 2 Houston doctors screwed up. 15,000 people are fucked over because of a couple of doctors. See, again, everything is corrupt. Everything is corrupt. Everything. Top to bottom, left to right, center to periphery. All right, here we go. This is a specific answer. This is what I wanted. A CMMG descent. Let me look this up. CMMG descent. Images. Oh wow, it comes in all kinds of different fucking calibers. Here, check this shit out. But you got the Foldy Boy stock on it. You can get a like an AK version, AR version. Look, there's a. Is this a descent too? Look, there's a 9mm version, 300 blackout version, rifle gay looking version. Look, a little tiny PP version. Look at this one.
Well, that's my whole thing about it. You can get something that's like close to like that PDW kind of range. One of the reasons why I said MP5. But you know, there's so many different choices.
I mean, I've got something like this. It's not this, but it's equivalent to this. You know what I mean? Like shorter barrel, pistol caliber, rifle stock ish, not literally, because that's against the law. It's a pistol brace, right? Yeah, not a stock. Anyway. Yeah, it's bufferless, so you can get the tiny one. Yeah, look how tiny that one with the fucking drum mag is. The little fucking flat dark earth. I said that weird. The Jackal in 308, says Corey. Yeah. I mean, I already have an Palmetto State Armory PA-10, I guess, in 308. So that would just be another 308 that I already have. Plus, I have a 308 bolt action, like, what would you call that? Not sniper rifle, but hunting rifle.
Yeah, so you already got both bases covered for semi and bolt for that. So
yeah, so we're good there. I mean, like I said, I've got a pretty good collection going. So it's kind of hard to find something that I actually need, you know. Anybody see the forced reset trigger on Garand Thumb today? No, I did not.
well, that was an up. I was thinking, unless you want a semi-auto shotgun.
That would be kind of cool. Because I do have 2 pump actions and 1 break action shotgun, but I do not have a semi-auto. But I'd want to get the one that Infernus likes, the one that looks like an AR-15 that has detachable magazines that you can use for competition.
That one.
The VR80?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. If I was going to get one, that's what it would be. Specifically because you could use it for that purpose, but then also, like, it's a semi-automatic shotgun. Like, yeah. I feel like if the drones ever attack, that's exactly what you want. Is a semi-auto shotgun that you can reload quickly with magazines that takes birdshot and shoots it reliably. so that you could take down drones flying at you. I take it by your silence. You guys haven't thought of this before, or you just don't give a fuck and you're playing fucking video games on the side right now.
No, I was just thinking about stuff I would get.
I'm blowing my nose.
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff I wish I can get.
If I actually had the money, I'd probably go with one of them JM 940s.
Lead on steel. You got any suggestions? You're awfully quiet.
I'm sitting here thinking, man, it's hard to think about it when I'm in South Carolina. I can get whatever I want.
Oh, rub it
that's
in,
a
you
good question.
fucking fuck.
Ooh, baby's in South Carolina.
Can
I'm
you still
sorry,
get?
it's freedom. My bad, freedom. I've got freedom.
It's true. Van Drake is in Chicago. Shot Red is in fucking California. Leo's in Chicago. I'm in Colorado, which is now the gayest state of all. It's just Ohio and Lead on Steel that are sitting pretty over there. You fuckers.
Well, I was going to ask, did they stop for you getting NFA items in Colorado too?
I have to read up on exactly what the law is, but my understanding is no, because that would be separate. But I guess by the way that the law works, like maybe, I'm not sure, dude. I'm not sure.
The new one that
Anything that has a detachable magazine and a semi-automatic, and if things are automatic, they're usually also semi-automatic. So I'm not sure.
Well, I was thinking of the suppressor thing.
What about a CZ Scorpion? You got one of those?
No, but I have something that takes CZ Scorpion magazines. Does that count?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like a cheap CZ Scorpion. Dwayne Christensen says, sold my Lone Wolf and Dagger Glock clones, kept my Bull Armory and CR 920.
I think that's the Shadow System one. I think you said that.
Yeah, that's Shadow System.
Metal and alloy guns are what I'm buying now. You don't like the nylon. You don't like the plastic. I don't care.
Funny thing, I've been wanting to do more of that too. Get more with the metal guns.
Yeah, like a SIG 226 or 229 or something like that. That'd be good.
I mean, if I had my way, I would like to get that. What is it? That metal MMP or damn, what's that other gun I'm thinking of?
It makes them heavy as shit, though, dude. Like a 1911, like a fully loaded 1911 weighs like fucking 3 pounds or something.
I got one.
And then you put that on your hip, it's like, yep, I have a gun on my hip.
I have a gun on my hip right now, but you know, like Glock 19 don't weigh that much.
Yeah, Glock 19, you can put that in a holster and almost forget it's there, you know?
Yep. Well, I do open carry, so it's like, you know, sometimes you don't feel it, it's there.
Right, but I'm saying even with open carry, you've got like a Deagle or something, you're gonna know you got a fucking Deagle. 1911's a hefty gun. Those all steel frame guns that they used to make are heavy. Plastic's a good thing.
What about a Rock Island 2011? You got a double stack 9mm 1911?
I do not have that. I don't
That'd
have.
be good to get.
That would be a gun potentially, is some sort of a competition shooting gun, something that you would use for like a 3-gun or for like a speed shooting competition.
Yep.
Funny, I do want one of those, but I do also want a full size and one maybe I could try to carry. So some type of 2011. Not too short.
11 is 41 ounces, says lawfully armed. Okay, yeah. 16 ounces is a pound, right? So 15, 30, 45. That's almost 3 pounds for that fucking gun. I wasn't far off.
Or Beretta 92s. I don't know if you have any of them.
I don't have any Beretta. No, I do not.
Yeah, you need to get you a Beretta then.
Yeah, that's a good one. I need to get one myself.
Goddamn Berettas are expensive, though.
That's why you get the Taurus knockoff.
It's probably cheaper where you at than where I'm at.
It's true. And it's cheaper now than it will be in 14 months.
Yep.
14 months, you won't be able to get it at all. So
I don't think about getting like a pistol caliber carbine.
yeah, people keep bringing that up. I
It's the
have
only thing I
one.
can buy in Illinois now.
See, I thought about when I built mine, I almost went, instead of doing 9mm, getting one in 45, just so that I would have like my own version of a fucking Chicago typewriter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like it would look like a Glock, and it would take probably Glock magazines, whatever the Glock that has the 45 caliber fucking magazines. But yeah, wouldn't that be kind of cool? Because no one has, like, everyone who builds the pistol caliber carbine, it's always 9mm. No one has a 45. I mean, not nobody, but basically nobody's got the 45. So
See,
Well,
here's
except
the
for like
funny
high
part.
points, right?
Well, see, here's the funny part. I brought that up, brother, because I shot my 1911 yesterday, and I'm not too much into the 45 round, but I feel like that's like a better thing for like pistol caliber carbine or PDW shortened guns. I mean, I think it's probably got enough power, and the weight and the distribution of that type of gun's probably definitely gonna hold that round well.
well, the
And
thing about
plus,
45 that's badass is, like, even using full metal jacket, non-defensive rounds, just like target ammunition, you shoot someone with a 45, you're going to drop them. Like, they're going to get hit with that bullet, and it's going to rip a big-ass hole through them, even if it doesn't expand, and they're going to be dropped. Like, 9mm, you're just poking holes in people, It's like a little bit too skinny if you're just using practice rounds. But, like, 45, man, you almost don't need the fucking expanding rounds. It'll just do it.
well, and the bullet's not going that fast where you can actually do real well with a suppressor on it too.
Right, and the other thing is, because it's not going as fast, it tends to dump all of its energy into the target versus zip right through it.
Yeah.
So it's got the stopping power.
No, yeah. So yeah, there's people that make particular guns out of 45, in a small, in that small compact way. Shoot, making me want to get one in the future.
Well, plus the other thing is, if you have the not so small compact fucking like 10-inch barrel or 12-inch barrel or even 16-inch full fucking rifle, 45 actually does have a little bit more zip to it. When you put a longer barrel on it, you increase the velocity a significant amount.
Same thing with the suppressors.
Yeah.
You got anything in 10mm?
I have no 10mm. I don't plan on getting any 10mm though, because man, it costs so much money to get into a new caliber, Because like you buy the gun, and that's just the first cost. Now you need the magazines, and that's just the second cost. Now you need the fucking ammo, and that's the third cost. And if you actually want to carry it, then you need the carry ammo. That's the fourth cost. And you want your little accoutrement for your rifle or whatever, your pistol that you bought. So now you need the red dot, and you need the fucking sling, and you need the holster or whatever else. So now you're into fucking like $2,000 so that you can have a 10mm, or something like that.
Yeah.
Now
I mean, that's my
thinking about it,
justification
they
for
did
not
try to-
doing it so far. Anyway.
I say, now that I think about it, my cousins did try to convince me in buying a Springfield too. They're like, man, go ahead, get you one too. We all getting the same one.
What kind? Well,
it was the XD Mod 3. So it
Oh,
was
that.
like $300. Bings, 300 Bings, yeah.
I think honestly the reason so many companies produce 9mm over everything else is because it is such a different round compared to 10mm or something like that that only is made by a couple companies, or even like if you go into like rifle caliber hunting and stuff like that, 350 Legends only made by a couple companies too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's
I
got
was
that
playing with
gay-ass fucking grip safety. Fuck that.
Yep. I actually was playing with it today.
Does it say grip zone?
No, I was looking for it.
What does that say right there? What does that say?
I think made in whatever.
Croatia?
I think.
Yeah, it's
Something like
Croatian.
that, I think.
Springfield Arms, the American company that's been making arms for the American government since the Civil War and before. Springfield with the heritage of American ingenuity, made in Croatia. The fuck?
Yep.
So if anything is, a couple of my
Or
coworkers
it's
and a lot of
paper
guys,
art,
they all
though.
buy the XDs. I never cared for the XD.
You know what? The XDM 45 I shot, it felt great. The shoot's good.
You said that
It
like
shot better
Yoda.
than the Glock.
Yeah,
like Yoda.
Springfield does very well with 45.
Mm.
Yeah, my 1911 is Springfield.
Feels good. It does.
The Springfield I shot.
Palmetto State's got some good Easter sales
Shot
right now.
good it did.
Shot better than the Glock. Tell you that much.
Better than a Glock it shot. What is the ECHELON? Echelon? The fuck is that? ECHELON?
Yeah, Echelon.
Echelon.
Yeah, that's the new hotness.
Sorry, I'm retarded.
Yeah, it was the one.
Trust me, there's a lot of people asking, wish we could have that on the roster.
This is the Echelon.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the XD without the fucking dangle. Doesn't
Kind of
it?
looks like the Hellcat too.
It's the same thing as the XD. Like, we were just looking at the Mod 3. Okay, go back. There's the Mod 3.
The Hellcat is fucking
There's the
great.
Mod
I love
3.
the Hellcat.
Just without the back safety.
I almost bought one, but now I got the Walter PDP out finally in our roster. I might think about get that because that Canic, I don't know when that's coming out.
I do like the Springfield 1911s. They do look pretty, though.
Yep.
Just too bad they try to backstab us. That's the thing.
I can forget which one it is.
I got the loaded target version.
Dude, look at these 19... Like, they're fucking sick-looking 1911s, dude. Look at those.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
you can't
mine-
blame one man for the entire company.
Compare that to the
and-
Full Armory 1911.
Mine is that second picture up top.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I've got the... whatchamacallit version of that.
Do you have a CZ75?
I have no
Van-
CZ75.
You need to
That's
look at
not a
those
bad idea
too.
either.
But the thing is, Van Drake, did any of those guys get fired? Or are
I'm
they
not
still
sure.
with the company?
I don't know.
'Cause I never heard anybody getting fired off of that.
Wasn't it the owners who were making the deal?
For the was just caring about money, but you got a lot of people that work for the company and everything that back the Second Amendment.
Yeah, think about the poor people of Croatia who produce these guns.
I thought about America.
Well, funny thing is bringing that up. That bullpup one that they had, surprisingly, that felt pretty good as far as the bullpup when I was over there at the gun store when they had that.
I wouldn't mind this gun. Set up exactly like that. That looks pretty fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's a 1911 and it's gay, but
So,
like, look at these, dude. They're fucking awesome. Whatever. Sucks that they suck. What's the chat saying? Sorry, I've been looking at these. Are you able to transfer semi-autos under the new law in the future? I'm unsure. I know that like buying and selling within Colorado is not a thing once the law goes into effect. As far as like, oh, I need some money, so I'll put it on Gunbroker and sell it to someone in Cincinnati or something. I'm not sure how that works.
I know it's gonna suck for any new gun owners that's coming of age that wants to buy their first gun.
Yeah, like my youngest son,
Yeah, that's not so.
Right.
he'll be... No, actually, he won't even... No, he'll be 18 and a couple of months when this law goes into effect. So he'll have like 3 months or 4 months or whatever to fucking buy something, potentially, if he would. And he wouldn't even be able to get a handgun because he's not old enough to.
Oh,
Because
so
you
you
gotta
got
be
the 21.
21 for that. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why my ass
So my
been-
other son would be in the same boat. He could buy one now if he wanted to, just not a fucking handgun because he's not 21 yet either.
That's why my ass moving. I ain't waiting for the courts because the Supreme Court playing. They sitting on their fucking ass.
Yes.
They still ain't took
Yeah.
nothing. I'm not dependent on them. I'm just gonna move to a gun-free, Second Amendment free state because it's just you're gonna be waiting 20 years. So you're gonna be waiting so long to the point where you just don't even give a fuck no more.
No, pretty much what Vandrick said, especially where I live at, because certain guns like had to be like what's that word, like Imperial and Relic. Even though I don't know how somebody would ever have one there, but I'm like let's say, because like I said, my dream gun, the MP5, I would have to get that till I was like fucking 40.
Exactly. It's not even like you just better off if you really care about and you really want these guns, you want to shoot and do this or that, you gotta move. There's no other option. Like the Supreme Court just sitting on their ass, and a lot of times, shit. Like they said, what was it before they took up the Night Server case? It was like 20 years since they took a fucking gun case. That was the first one in 20 years. Like that is crazy.
You're
You're
absolutely
just better
right.
off moving.
My only argument against that, and it's a short-term argument, is that Trump just set up that thing with the Department of Justice,
But that don't
and
matter.
at the same time,
It gotta go
Colorado stepped over the line by quite a bit and made a bunch of noise doing it. So maybe
Illinois
maybe
did the same. Damn near did the same thing. You gotta go. It
Well-
still gotta go through the courts. That shit Trump did, bro. That's just blowing smoke. They can't do nothing without going through the courts. All they can do is write a mean letter to the states. That's it.
Well, yeah, we're going what he said, and it depends on what certain problems you deal with certain states, because I don't know how it is in Colorado. Y'all know how much how it is in my state. So even if you got rid of Gavin Newsom's ass, you should see how some of them judges act. Like they have no problem doing some stupid shit.
Nope.
Right, and specifically the Colorado Supreme Court is ridiculous and have gone against the actual Supreme Court in the direction that they fucking judge things again and again and again. Like I forget what it was, but it was something that like passed the Colorado Supreme Court and then went to the actual Supreme Court and got slapped down 7-0.
Yeah, the only way for shit to change is if the Supreme Court was specific but broad and specific at the same time by saying in there you can't ban this, you can't do this, you can't. They have to be very broad and at the same time very specific on the ruling. Because if they're not, they were like, oh well, you can have AR-15s. Okay, then they're gonna but then they're gonna say, oh well, you can only have 5-round mags or no mag like how California does. You can't have mags come out. It has to be like fixed in there, and you gotta fucking top feed it or some shit. It'll be some kind of bullshit. They have to be very specific and very, very broad, or else the shit just gonna keep happening.
I thought that the two decisions that they made, Bruin and Heller, between those two decisions, if the lower courts do as they are instructed by the higher court, which is how the justice system is supposed to work, then all of these stupid laws in stupid states like Colorado or whatever,
they're still too broad.
Being slapped down.
It don't cover. It don't. It's too broad and not specific. It's
a little bit of both, because remember the higher courts are not getting on their asses either.
No, they not, and both of them are still too broad, but not specific. Like they're broad in their answering, but they're not specific about anything, like any one thing. They need to be specific. They need to point out, name items. They need to do all of that, or otherwise it's gonna keep happening. Oh well, they didn't say this. Well, it didn't say this. Well, it didn't say that. Well, this gun wasn't made at this time, and that gun wasn't made during back then and that time. That's why we're getting this right now. They weren't specific enough. They were very broad, but they weren't specific on anything really.
But they were specific because they said specifically
the only thing that they were
anything
specific
that's in
on
common
was,
use, anything that people have in common use is beyond the scope of any local or state or federal government to be able to regulate in any way because it's in common use. Like, for instance,
that was mainly Heller, and that was
in common use and is therefore beyond the reach by the decision of the Supreme Court. And these lower courts don't give a fuck.
items. That's why I said they
Well,
have to name the
They
item
did by
instead of
saying
just saying
anything
common
that's
use.
specifically being used by
Yeah,
American
but
citizens.
you gotta think.
Period.
See, you're
That
thinking
makes it
with
that.
your
That
no.
is
You're
what they're
thinking with
specifically
your
talking
brain.
about.
No,
That is the decision that they made, and that's what it
I
says.
get it.
And
I
it's
know,
very
but
specific.
you're thinking
And it's
okay,
with
very
your brain.
inclusive
You
of
have to think
everything that
with
people are
their
talking
brain.
about right now.
Oh,
okay. Let me
this,
let me
but
bring
they
it down.
didn't say this. Or
Yeah,
they
hold
didn't
on.
say
Y'all
that.
talking over
That's
each
how
other.
this.
Hold on.
I was gonna say, let me bring it down. Like in this certain sense, Honda. Like, because I know the whole term with the common use. They still fucking around with people with even they use with suppressors and all the other stuff, and that's way common too. Even by how and because you can back it up with the statistics, how many people bought it, and all this other stuff. 'Cause there's other states that doing that whole fight with the little common use, and you got to deal with the certain politicians and some of those judges and stuff. Remember, some of these people do not know shit about guns or own whatever, so they gonna act a certain way with that, and the whole you got to bring up statistics and the whole
And
fight.
play
You'd be
stupid.
surprised how it goes in those courts.
Yeah, they just play dumb and play stupid. Like I get you're coming from Honda, your brain in that you know. You're thinking with the wrong brain. You have to put their brain in your head and think how they think and come up with the bullshit that they would come up with. That's why I'm saying they need to be broad and specific and name these items. They need to specifically name. You cannot ban the AK, AR-15, MP5. They need to name them in the
I disagree.
decisions.
Again, I think that they already have, and I think that the problem isn't that they've not specifically named the things that need to happen. It's that their judgments have no teeth. They have no enforcement mechanism. There is no mechanism by which they can hold the lower courts accountable except for impeachment, which has to be done by Congress. So the very system
I agree.
itself is
I
set up
agree.
in a way that it's not going to hold these judges accountable for going against what the federal court has said that they should do. And that's the problem. It's not that they have gotten like not specific enough, because they're always going to find a semantical argument to say
Yep.
this or that, or
Yep.
to
I
include
agree.
something in the argument that shouldn't have been included to justify their position. The point is that the fucking federal government has no ability to enforce the decisions that they've made on the lower courts in any meaningful way, and that's a giant hole in the way the justice. Like it's
I agree. And that's why it goes back to me
lower
saying
courts.
the best thing for you to do is
Hold
move.
on. The lower courts are supposed to be like, hey, we heard the higher court, and because we are honorable and we want to uphold the honor of the court, we will do and abide by what the higher court says. But because we have these fucking like these judges that are, they're not judges, they're advocates. They're fucking they're working for a specific policy. They're working for a goal, right? So the things that they do are specifically against the higher courts. They don't have that honor that they're supposed to have. This fucking system is based upon an honor system that no longer applies. So there needs to be some other enforcement mechanism in order for this to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. That's why it goes back to what I said. The best thing for you to do, fuck stay and fight or whatever, is useless. Just move to a Second Amendment loving state. That's the best thing that you can do. If you enjoy your Second Amendment rights, the only thing for you to do is move.
But if everyone just moves away from the problems that they have, then basically doesn't everything just get worse?
For them there in that place. But the thing that I always say, it's better that you have somewhere to go. If you say you know you got a person that hates guns, you got a person that loves guns. The country is pretty split. It's still more states that's for the Second Amendment than not. But at least those people that don't like the Second Amendment, don't respect the Second Amendment, I believe this country is for everybody. At least they got somewhere to go or somewhere to be where they don't really have to worry about law-abiding citizens having guns, just the gangsters. And at least the people that love their Second Amendment and want to exercise that right, their states, different environments, different weather, and shit that you can go to and enjoy that scenery in that state with your Second Amendment rights.
So
That's
the
the way
problem
I
with
see
that
it.
is it's
a
the
place for
brain
everybody.
theory, right? It's like, why does Kenya suck so fucking bad? Why is Kenya such an awful place, right? And the part of the answer is that anytime someone who is born in Kenya and is a Kenyan citizen who is smart enough, industrialist enough, and able to get an education or like raise a farm and get some money going or whatever, the first fucking thing that they do with their money is get the fuck out of Kenya and go anywhere else. So they take all of the talent, they take all of the intelligence, they take all of the resource production
way
with
bigger
them,
scale.
and they
You
leave
talking about a
Kenya,
way bigger scale.
dude. And they leave
I'm talking
Kenya.
about a state. You're talking about a country.
Right, and I'm going from micro to macro or macro to micro.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's a big difference, though.
no,
I'm
well,
talking
hold on,
about
dude.
a state within the country. You're talking about just leaving the entire country. I'm talking about just going to even like just the next state over.
Right, and so what happens with like Colorado, right, is the people who are Second Amendment advocates, who are like, let's say, freedom of speech advocates or whatever it is that drives them to leave the state because the state has gone the other way. You're now abandoning that state to the liberals. You're now guaranteeing that for the future, no matter what, that state will continue to be blue because the people that would vote red have gotten the fuck out of there.
Yeah, when something is just so far gone, there's nothing you. It's sometimes you can fight, but at a certain point you got to realize this fight isn't going anywhere. If like
Okay.
a person in California trying to fight for Second Amendment rights and stuff, dude, it's too far gone. If the state's 90%, the big ass cities make the state 90% blue. What are you fighting? That's like a 3-year-old fighting fucking The Rock. At a certain point,
See,
it's like, hey, all right, let me just go over here and continue. While this is a winning uphill, like a winning battle, I'm up the hill already over here, and I can enjoy my Second Amendment rights and still advocate for the Second Amendment and where it's meaningful. It's
well,
just
see,
like
I'll say
places,
this.
it's just not meaningful in some places. You're not doing anything. You're
No,
just
I
going.
understand both sides of the argument, and there you can win a fight even if you do stay here. But mind you, because I don't want to say how the way I say this, because YouTube or whoever listening, whatever, you can fight, but are you willing to put yourself at a risk on the line and maybe have to do certain
A
shit?
target on your head and everything else.
Or,
And like at some point, it's just not worth it.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, some people deal with corrupt
must
officials
be
or
watered with the blood of both tyrants and patriots alike.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing. Not many people want to stick their necks out like that.
Yeah, a couple of people doing it, still not going to work. It has to be one of
fucking
them.
goddamn true story.
But I'll say this: even the people in my state. Oh yeah, there's people that own guns. Some illegal. Some we don't give a fuck about the laws and the rules, whatever California gives us. Some are still gonna do what we do. But when push comes to shove, if it gets that bad, I don't know. The question is if people are willing to take those certain actions. But I don't think people are gonna do that unless shit goes real south.
Did you hear Derek Chauvin's probably about to get out of jail?
I heard talks about it.
Yeah, that
was we'll see.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, that was false. See, I think even Trump. I believe he even said that he's not pardoning, giving him a pardon.
Well, he can't because he's got the murder charge under the state, not under the federal.
Except for one of the state's witnesses against him. It was the person in charge of training for the fucking police department went on stand and perjured herself by saying that putting a knee on the back of someone's neck while they're dealing with a drug overdose was not part of their training program, when in fact it was part of their training program. They have 50 or so sworn affidavits from people who work within department who have sworn under oath that in fact that was part of the training process prior to the events of George Floyd and all that bullshit.
Even while dealing with drug overdose, that's one of the key statements in that. While dealing with, because they could train you to put somebody on the ground and put a knee to the back or back of the neck or whatever. But one of the key languages in there is while dealing with a drug overdose. That might not have been permitted.
Well, even in match-ups, we saw FBI agents doing the fucking knee shit, so I wasn't surprised.
Well, the point is that he was put into prison for murder for a policy that was taught to them by the department, who, when it came down to it, perjured themselves in front of the judge and jury and lied and said that it wasn't part of their training, and threw this guy under the bus so that he would go to prison so that hopefully they could stop some fucking riots from happening, basically. Right? But what happens when they overturn that decision because it turns out they lied? Because a higher court will look at that and say, oh, there's information that was presented that was a direct lie that's been proven that it's a lie, and here's the fucking information that's true. Like, we have to look at this case. We have to reopen this case, and we have to either retry it or throw it out is what needs to happen. And what do you think's going to happen in the cities?
More rioting.
George Floyd is brought back.
It's gonna be bad, but I don't know if even with that, there's still a lot. Like I said, my dad a police officer, and I'm friends with a lot of police officers and shit. Even all of them even said that he shouldn't have had his knee on the back of his neck and shit for that long. Especially a big guy like that laying on their stomach. Like they even say like bigger guys and stuff. You can't have them on their stomach that long, because even without you being on them, they could still suffocate. Just by laying on your chest and your stomach that long.
I understand. I'm not saying that the policy was correct. I'm saying that them getting on stand and lying that they didn't teach that policy when they did is going to exonerate Chauvin when they bring that to court again.
I don't think it'll exonerate. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it'll exonerate him because one of the big things was the amount of time that he had him on the ground and on his neck was too long. It was excessive. Like every police officer that I know even said the same thing. It was too long. But it was like manslaughter. Maybe they said the charges was too much. They said maybe manslaughter, but they even like all of them say the same thing. My dad or whatever. My dad real fucking. I'm surprised he even agreed. Very surprised that he agreed. Like if you know my dad. Even him saying like that was just way too long, it holds weight.
He was following his training.
But no, the training not to have him on there that long. That's like the specific thing. You cannot have them on the ground for that long. That's why even if you watch the video, multiple officers was telling him, hey, you need to get him on his side now. You need to get him up. Because that is part of the training. You can't have them in that position on their stomach for almost 10 minutes.
Right, but the other thing that you can't do
suffocate that way.
The other thing that you can't do is bear false witness in court. Hold on, dude. Let me finish my sentence here. The other thing that you can't do in the United States of America under the rule of law and a system of justice is give false witness as the state against a defendant to throw him in prison for something that you told him to do, like it or not, right? And that's not even the point. The point is you can't lie about stuff and then put someone in prison. Yes. I don't care if they're guilty or not. I don't care if he fucking killed babies, dude. You can't fucking go into court. Hold on, dude. You can't go into court and lie about what someone did and put them in prison under false pretenses and call it a system of justice. You can't do both those things.
And I agree. But we're arguing two different things. What I'm saying is, yes, they could probably have to retrial, but what I'm saying is it may not exonerate him because of the length of time still. Even if he was trained to do that, he still did it for too long. It was excessive.
The argument isn't even about if he's guilty or not. The argument is about, did the fucking state overreach their mandate in prosecution of him? And if so, he goes free. It's the same exact argument for the January 6th defendants whose rights were trampled all over by the federal government when they were tried in kangaroo court and rubber stamped fucking guilty verdicts for crimes that they may or may not have committed. Doesn't matter if they did or not. The government overreached their bounds when putting them in prison. And so even if they were guilty, even if they killed a fucking cop on that day, which no one did, but even if they did, if the government overstepped their power while prosecuting them in court, they go free, period. That's the way the system works, or it doesn't work.
Well, pretty much. They fucked up by a technicality. He could technically go free,
Yeah.
and he can sue back at him.
Happens all the time.
Yep.
And that's a pretty big fucking technicality. Oh yeah, we actually fucking did train him to do that, but we said in court that we didn't. That's more than a small technicality. That's not like, oh, you spelled his name wrong on the fucking ticket or something, which you also get off for, by the way. I heard he really said, I can't read, not I can't breathe. God damn it, dude. Jesus. Yeah, and I'm not arguing that, like, Chauvin did the right thing. I'm not arguing that, you know, I guess I am arguing that George Floyd probably died of a drug overdose, not being suffocated.
I think it's a little bit of both. I thought it's just a little bit of both.
It's one or the other, I think. There's no both.
You know, because one thing can contribute, and you could like pretty much die from two different things.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I say. I think it's just a little bit of both.
Didn't he have enough fentanyl in his system to kill like a water buffalo?
Yeah, the official autopsy showed there was a bunch of different drugs in the system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, they could have put him on his side. They could have given him ice water. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it would have mattered what they did.
Or not take fentanyl, you know. Yeah, we could just not do that.
Well, I mean, he was a retard doing that.
Now, what was the guy who was selling Lucy's on the street and the fucking cops, like, smashed him to death? You remember that one?
Oh,
That
yeah.
one-
Yeah.
Chokehold, had him in chokehold.
Cigarettes and shit. Eric Gardner was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. That was
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like, there's much better examples than George Floyd, I think. Like, of, like, injustice and police overstepping their bounds and using fucking force when they don't need to or don't have to or excessively or whatever, you know?
If you
And there's
actually,
plenty of examples of cops being pieces of shit that need to not be cops who have that chip on their shoulder and that fucking power trip going on, you know, without fucking embellishing things or like sanctifying someone who held a fucking knife to a pregnant woman and, you know, like fucking really died of a fucking drug overdose, not a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, seriously, like, we could find a better example if we wanted one.
Yeah, a lot of them. Trayvon Martin. What was he, 12 or 13?
Well, that wasn't done by a cop, though.
Trayvon was 12.
Oh, not Trayvon.
Nah, yeah.
The other boy that was just playing with a toy gun in the park and the police just pull up and just shoot him. Don't ask nothing, like literally pull up, get out the car, bang, bang.
Oh, yeah, I know
There's
that
examples
one.
of this all the time. There was a like a 14 or 15-year-old. He was either black or Hispanic kid. I forget what he was, but he was riding a quad in the city, right? Which is against the law. And rather than like trying to chase him and catch him or, you know, find out where he lived or whatever, write him a ticket, as he was riding by, the police officer decided that the prudent course of action would be to pull out his taser and tase the 14-year-old boy who was driving by on a quad going like 50 miles an hour. Right?
That's fucking nuts.
And what happens when you get tased? Your whole body tenses up. You lose control of your bodily reactions. You tense up. And he crashed and snapped his neck and died. So then he had to call the parents and be like, well, your son was riding a quad. Yeah, and you fucking killed him to stop him. Good job, cop. That's the kind of policing we need. You know? Honestly, like, there's plenty of examples of police overstepping their bounds and doing things that are fucked up and stepping over people's rights and killing people unnecessarily and doing things that are fucked up without looking at George Floyd, who was a piece of fucking trash.
The big difference at the time, everybody was locked up in their house and it was all over the internet and it was a long ass video. And because the video was so long and because people was bored and wanted to get the fuck out the house, the only option was to do was fucking riot about that. That's just the difference. And I feel like if any of those happened during that time of COVID, it would have been the same thing. You would have got the same summer of love, but it would have
Yep,
been
it
more
just happened at
beautiful.
the right time. Yep.
Yeah, it just happened at the right time. That's all
Yeah,
it was.
and it's almost like it was set up. It was almost like it had echoes of things that happened all over Europe when they wanted regime change in different countries called color revolutions, when they used the United States AID to fund fucking dissident movements within other countries and put people on the streets and have protests and basically have elections under false pretenses to put people in power who otherwise would not have been put into power.
Mm-hmm. Who
It's
knows?
almost like they used the exact same formula in the United States to make sure that Trump wouldn't get his second term, only to have him get his second term 4 years later. And then they tried something in Butler, New York, or Butler, Pennsylvania, excuse me, that didn't work out. And then they tried another one in Mar-a-Lago that didn't work out. And then it was too late. I don't know what they're going to do now, man. I don't know.
There was another one recently in Wisconsin.
Well, the thing is, like, they've programmed these teenagers, these kids coming up, these 20, 30-something-year-olds who have taken the fucking pill and drank the fucking Kool-Aid, that the 2025 Ice Bucket Challenge has a target on Donald Trump. That's what it is. It's like, hey, do the Ice Bucket Challenge. You remember the Ice Bucket Challenge when all these fucking retarded ass teenagers were like fucking getting on camera and be like, ALS, I don't even know what it is. And they'd pour fucking ice over their head and fucking they'd make a meme out. I don't know, dude. It was stupid. And everyone fucking did it. Why? Because people are fucking lemmings and they don't fucking think for themselves. Now the Ice Bucket Challenge is Trump is Hitler, Elon is Hitler. We need to go to the fucking Elon Musk dealerships and burn them down. We need to like target Trump somehow in any way that we can, and all these other things that they're fucking doing. And it's the Ice Bucket Challenge. They don't have any fucking thought behind it. They're not fucking unique. They're not fucking actually doing things for themselves. It's just a meme. It's just the thing that people are doing. And I want to be cool and I want to participate. I want to be that fucking Luigi guy, right? Yeah, man, that's fucking cool. Like all the chicks want to sleep with him in prison and he's famous now. That's so great. I want to be just like Luigi. It's the fucking Ice Bucket Challenge 2025 fucking eliminate Trump fucking thing that they're trying to do. And if we let them, it's going to work. Enough of them are up to it. Maybe one of the fucking retards gets lucky.
Dude, this country is going to look very fucking different.
Think about how different it would already be if his fucking bullet was just like an inch to the right or whatever.
Yeah, we're being civil war. And like a lot of people were saying, like, people know this. If Trump would have got assassinated that day, you think the summer of love was something. I'm trying to tell these fucking crazy ass leftists, you don't want a civil war with the right. They're the ones with all the guns and actual power.
Yeah, well, funny thing is there's some of them, certain ones that are arming up, but mind you, those are like certain areas and certain places.
Yeah, there's a lot of socialist leftists that are getting
I'm trying to
now.
tell you, goddamn leftists, you don't want to fight with the left. You have a zero with the right. You have a 0% chance of winning that.
Well, what it does is it gives the CIA and the Secret Service plausible deniability. To when something does happen, they say, "Oh, well, we try to keep him safe. Oh, we try to do everything But it turns out that much like the Kennedy assassination, or just like the Kennedy assassination, or just like the fucking Martin Luther King assassination, or just like what happened to several other fucking like leaders of countries around the world, like Gaddafi, who got fucking bayoneted to death in his asshole, they get targeted by these people and they get set up, right? Like there's the assassin who did it, but then there's the team that supported him and trained him and placed him and protected him until he was able to take that shot. Why do we still know nothing about this Butler fucking Pennsylvania guy?
We know that he was trained and set up and shit by the FBI or CIA, one of the two. We know that.
No, we don't know that. That's the point. We know that, but we can't prove it. There's no proof of that. There's no ability of us to to point to the fucking the bullet points and say, here's the actual information, because that's what we need to be able to do.
You wouldn't get 100% proof. They've been doing it for too long. They know how to cover.
I get it, and we're never going to get that proof. But the point is that is what's going on, bro. It's fucking obvious. Again, if you see it, you can't unsee it. If you see it, you understand it and you can point to the intricate parts, but you can't show it to someone who doesn't see it because you can't prove these things, because you can't point to the actual things and say, well, here's the message and here's the fucking order and here's where it came from and here's who it went to and here's how they did it. You can't say those things because they cover it up.
All you can
know
do is
what's
show
happening.
the stuff. Yeah, all you can do is like it lingers. All you can show is the lingering. You just can't show the actual definitive proof.
And also, depending what type of person you're
Again,
dealing with,
and that's the
there's
fucking
some that don't
point, dude.
care.
It's not about what you know; it's about what you can prove. If you can't prove it, you don't know shit, and that's unfortunate. That's the world we live in today. You can't if you can't prove it, shut the fuck up. That's what the world says. They don't care if you fucking know it. We all know things. It's about what you can prove and what information you actually have. And since we will never be able to prove these things, and this information about the guy from Butler, fucking Pennsylvania, who took a shot at the president, who flew a drone around and had fucking sights at him from 100 yards away, and sights of fucking sniper nests, who fucking were able to take him out, who waited until he took multiple shots to even try to do that because they thought that he was on their team or there was confusion or whatever the fucking excuse is. Doesn't matter. They let it fucking happen. It's a Lee hop, 100%. But I can't prove that. I just know it. So it doesn't fucking matter that I know it. So it just is what it is, dude. And it's scary because, again, if that bullet had just been 1 inch to the right, we'd be living in a different fucking reality right now. And they're not going to give up, and they're going to keep pushing for that forward. And they've got the fucking ice bucket challenge of 10 million fucking retards in this country who just can't wait to pour ice over their head, if you know what I mean, when it comes to President Trump, and are willing to fucking be that Oswald fucking person because they want to be famous. And they're going to make it happen for somebody, I'm afraid. Anyway. I'm sorry, I got angry. I'm angry about this whole situation, not at anybody here. But I'm angry about the way that things are going to... They're on the edge of falling apart, and I hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that the future of this country has some certainty to it, and I hope that Trump is able to fucking overcome these people, and I hope that Doge is able to fucking root out a bunch of the corruption and evil before they fucking fight back in meaningful ways, and I hope that the ice bucket challenge doesn't work out, and you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many things, dude.
No, man, I understand. I mean, me, I got anger, I don't, express it. I mean, I express it enough at a certain point, but all thing you can do is just prepare, whether good or bad. You can do is just prepare in case, shit happens.
Well, that's not all you can do. You can educate people. You can educate yourself. You can have discussions about it. You can form fucking groups. You can get together in groups. You can train. You can protest. You can redress the government for grievances. You can sue. You can take people to court. There's lots of things that people can do besides put their head down and fucking buy fucking more guns,
Well, no, yeah, I'll agree with all that. I'm just saying it's always good to prepare too. I mean, like the stuff that we were talking about, we always did our preparedness, like in case like certain situations happen. At least as long as you got that basis too, then you can do all the other stuff because that way you won't be caught with your pants down.
I think we're caught with our pants down. I think we've already been caught with our pants down when we let the federal government fucking run things for decades without anyone asking real questions about what they were up to, and them making things top secret and us not knowing why, and them overthrowing countries and putting in leaders so that things are easier for them and they can make more money while they get rid of the gold standard and fucking implement World Bank and fucking Federal Reserve Bank policies and things that have gone into this country and ruined basically the future of this country. And I don't know how we get it back. I don't think we do. I think it's too late. We already had our pants down.
Well, I mean, the thing of that is that a lot of that would be almost impossible to do anyway, because that was generations before we were alive here, man. So
right. Yeah. Which means we were born fucked. You're right. Weird. Caught with our pants down, boys. All right. Well, that's all I got to say about that. And, it's been an hour and a half, which is how long we normally go for the Gay Frog chats. I don't know. Anybody else got any last minute thoughts?
Nope.
No last minute. All right.
No.
Well, In that case, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Deuces y'all. Shauna P. and Fridge. Troop and shop and knob and pressure. Batacath. Care prick the troops. 2 words. Made in America. And we'll see y'all next time. Oh, by the way, I'm working on another video. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. So look forward to that. And we'll see you then. Deuces.
Bye.
I want to talk to you, motherfucker. Call me. Call me. Call me.